I'm not gonna lie, some Mythic Plus runs don't just go bad. They kind of expose you, not just the group, not just the dungeon, not just bad luck. You. And I've had a few runs like that lately where I went in thinking, okay, this should be fine. Maybe not free, maybe not easy, but fine. I know the dungeon, I know the basics. I've done keys before, I should be all right. And then the run starts. Things get messy. One mistake turns into another. And suddenly you realize, yeah, I'm not as ready as I thought. And honestly, as bad as that feels in the moment, I think those are the runs that teach you the most. Because the smooth keys are nice, obviously. Everybody likes the clean run where nothing really goes wrong, and you time it and move on. But the ugly ones, the runs where you get humbled, those are the ones that actually show you what's missing. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. Not from the perspective of some insane player timing ridiculous keys and acting like everything is obvious, just from someone who genuinely enjoys Mythic Plus, likes trying to push higher, and has been learning some pretty painful lessons from getting absolutely destroyed in keys. One of the biggest things I've realized is that feeling comfortable is not the same as actually being ready. And I think that one hit me the hardest, because there are a lot of runs where I go in feeling decent. Not amazing, not super confident, but decent enough. Like, okay, I should be able to handle this. I've played enough. I know what's going on. But Mythic Plus has a really brutal way of exposing fake comfort, because a key can feel fine right up until the moment the pressure starts. The pull gets weird. Someone dies. The route changes a bit. The timer gets tighter. Now you got overlap, panic, movement, cool down pressure, everything at once. And suddenly you realize there's a huge difference between, I know this dungeon, and I can still play this dungeon well when the run stops being comfortable. That's a completely different level. And I think that's one of the first things Mythic Plus taught me the hard way. Just because I felt okay at the start doesn't mean I was actually prepared for the run when it got ugly. Another thing I've learned is that small mistakes matter way more than I used to admit. Before, I think I looked at bad runs and blamed the obvious stuff. The big wipe, the missed interrupt that clearly killed everyone, the tank pulling something weird, the healer falling over, the huge dramatic moment where the key clearly starts going downhill. But the more I play, the more I feel like a lot of bad runs actually die from smaller stuff. Bad movement, late reactions, greedy damage, holding a defensive a little too long, using something too early, positioning just a little wrong, losing focus for a few seconds. Stuff that doesn't always look dramatic in the moment. But once the key gets harder, those mistakes stop being small. That's when you really feel it. And honestly, that's kind of frustrating, because it means a lot of the runs that feel unlucky are sometimes just me leaking value all over the place in ways I didn't want to see before. Not one giant throw, just lots of little weaknesses adding up until the key punishes them. And yeah, that sucks to admit, but I think it's real. I think the biggest personal lesson for me, though, has been how much panic changes everything. Because sometimes the real problem in a key isn't even the first mistake. It's what happens after. You mess something up, or someone else dies, or a pull goes weird, and now the run feels different. You can feel the pressure change. And if you're not careful, your brain changes with it. You start rushing. You stop playing clean. You tunnel harder. You're trying to save the run too fast. You stop trusting the group. You start thinking about the timer more than the actual next mechanic. And once that starts, everything gets worse. I've definitely felt that. Like, you want to recover so badly that you actually make it worse. And I think that's one of the hardest parts of Mythic Plus that people don't always talk about enough. It's not just mechanics. It's not just game knowledge. It's whether you can stay stable when the run starts slipping. Because the players who stay calm usually give the run a chance. And the players who mentally crack, even a little bit, usually help kill it faster. And I'm not saying that like I'm above it. I'm not. I've done it too. That's part why I'm even making this video. Because I know what that feels like. Another thing getting destroyed taught me is that I still have way more to improve than I thought. And I don't mean that in some fake humble way where you say that just to sound nice. I mean actually improve. Not just do more damage. Not just play more keys. not just hope for better groups. I mean improve the quality of how I play, how I react when things get messy, how clean I stay under pressure, how fast I notice danger, how quickly I recover after mistake, how much I'm actually helping the run instead of just trying to survive it. That's the part Mythic Plus keeps exposing. And honestly, I think that's part why I still like it so much, even when it feels brutal. Because high keys are kind of honest. They don't really care how confident you were. They don't care that your last easier run felt smooth. They don't care that you usually play better than that. They show you very quickly what actually holds up and what doesn't. And yeah, that can feel rough. Really rough. But I also think that honesty is what makes Mythic Plus so satisfying when you do improve. Because when you actually get better, you can feel it. When you panic less, you feel it. When your movement gets cleaner, you feel it. When you stop making the same dumb mistake over and over, you feel it. When a situation that used to destroy you suddenly feels manageable, you feel it. That improvement feels real, because the game made you earn it. One more thing I've had to admit is that, yeah, the pug can absolutely be bad, but I can't use that as the answer for everything. And that's annoying, because sometimes the group really is a mess. Bad communication, weird decisions, no trust, no stops, no coordination, people mentally gone after one death. That happens all the time in pugs. But if I'm being honest, even in those runs, there's usually still something I could have done better too. Maybe I could have stayed calmer. Maybe I could have positioned better. Maybe I got greedy. Maybe I lost focus after one thing went wrong. Maybe I was already mentally blaming the group instead of fixing my own play. And I think that's one of the hardest truths in Mythic Plus. Sometimes the pug is bad. But if I use that as the answer every single time, then I don't really learn anything. And getting destroyed has forced me to admit that, because a bad run can expose the group, sure. But sometimes it exposes me too. And if I actually want to improve, that's the part one need to look at, even when it's uncomfortable. So yeah, I think that's really what I've learned from getting destroyed in Mythic Plus. I've learned that comfort is not readiness. I've learned that small mistakes add up way faster than I used to think. I've learned that panic kills more runs than people want to admit. I've learned that I still have a lot more to improve. And I've learned that the most painful keys are sometimes the most useful ones, because they show you exactly what still isn't good enough. I'm still not some top player. I'm still learning, still trying to get more experience, still trying to push higher without pretending I've got everything figured out. But maybe that's exactly why these lessons feel real to me, because Mythic Plus has this brutal way of humbling you. But if you don't run from that feeling, it also gives you something to work on. And honestly, that's probably why I keep coming back to it. Because even when it destroys you, it still feels like there's something there to learn. And I guess that's the trade-off. It feels awful in the moment, but sometimes those are the runs that actually make you better. So yeah, if you had a key recently that completely humbled you, let me know what it was. Was it panic? Mechanics? Bad positioning? Just the whole run going to hell? Because I'm pretty sure every Mythic Plus player has at least one key that made them sit back after and think, yeah, I'm not as clean as I thought.